Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back. And just let me make sure that we are back. Are we back? There you go. We are back now. Finally, we are back. Welcome back to the stream, my friends. And we are going to go ahead and add BALOO here from the Jungle Book in a Marvel style over here. So we're going to add BALOO. Okay. Now, again, for those of you who don't know, what I am actually doing is adding characters from something called the Mirrorverse. If you haven't heard of that, it's a video game done by Disney, but I just wanted to give it a little bit more of a quote-unquote Marvel style, or a little bit my own flair. But thank you, guys. And Kieran, a longtime viewer of myself, of mine, good to see you here, wants me to sing. So what are we singing, guys? Sing with me. Look for the bare necessities, put in Mother Nature's recipes. Forget about your worries and your strife. Okay, back to the real music. There you go. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you very much. So good to see you all. Welcome back to the stream. We're going to go ahead and drop BALOO in a Marvel style. I'm not sure if you guys like the movie or not, but again, I'm going to draw it in my style here. So there is an actual look to this BALOO, which is why I wanted to include it. But which is why I wanted to include him in here. But the question is, how will I include him here? Because I have limited space here, right? But he actually has this cybernetic arm that, unfortunately, because yeah, you guys know I don't really plan out too much these drawings. I just kind of put them together, and it's probably smarter. And I would tell you guys, it's actually smarter for you guys to actually lay out and kind of plan out where everything goes. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. But it would have been smarter for me to actually plan this out so I know where everything was going. Because he has this cool cybernetic arm, which I actually can't show too much of because I did not plan it out properly. See, I'm just drawing his hand here. Just drawing his hand. So, let's go ahead. And hi, Comic Book Bob. How you doing, buddy? Tailspin fans. There you go. And that's the thing about when you're drawing on paper, you have no choice but to be restricted to the paper. That's why if you guys are drawing on paper, it does make sense to plan it out, what you're going to do, what you're going to draw, because you want to make sure everything fits in the drawing. Now, if you're drawing digital, it doesn't matter because you could change the canvas size, no problem. You know, you could crop, no problem. Here, you're kind of limited to what's here. So this one already I like better than the anger I drew. I like it better already than the anger I drew. So speaking of anger, why don't we go to your comments? Just joking, yes. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at your questions here? So we're going to answer some questions. Last stream we had a great discussion about Marvel and its phases, but I'm interested in what you guys are talking about here. So let's go to the first question right now. Shalom Kaysen? Shalom Kaysen says, just want to say I love the live streams and glad they're back. Well, I'm glad to be back doing these things. Again, guys, this time around, I'm not worrying about views anymore. I'm not worrying about the algorithm. I just want to come on here and draw and have fun. At the end of the day, that's all I really want to do. Trying to have fun. YouTube is, if it makes money for me, fantastic. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that too. I'm all right with that. So it's more of a, as we say, quote unquote, hobby channel. I'm not going to do content anymore that I'm doing just for the algorithm anymore. Yesterday we had a long discussion about this, my thoughts on the state of YouTube and where it's going and where I kind of fit in and my thoughts on, being a long-term job. And I would tell you guys, even if you do find success, it's hard to keep it. It's very, very, very hard to keep success. It takes a very special few to make this work long-term. It really is. So if you're able to make it, you might only have like a 4 to 5 year career. And then that's not just because of, people not watching your content anymore. A lot of it is because a lot of creators, they go on to other opportunities. Like they go to Hollywood, or they build these businesses that they need now all their time to run the business. Like, for example, let's go one of the OGs, Michelle Phan, who I still follow to this day, not because I'm into makeup, but more because of her business acumen. Also, Michelle Phan, she's a former VFX artist. That's why I'm able to relate to her a lot better than a lot, because she does have a visual effects background. She went to Ringling, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ringling school, which is an amazing school if you want to get in VFX. Super expensive, like all these VFX schools. School's expensive, guys. School is expensive these days. Maybe we could talk a little bit about school today, since I'm on that tangent. Maybe I could talk a little bit about school and my thoughts about school. But while I go ahead and draw this part here, you know what I'm going to give him? I'm going to give this guy, I'm going to give BALOO here, I'm going to give him the PED abs, where it's like abs, but it's like a big belly. So he has chiseled abs, but he's got a big belly. So there you go. But where was I going? That yeah. So she got her millions of followers, but she doesn't have like the 20 million that you see a lot of people have. She still hasn't hit 10 million yet, if I'm not mistaken. But that's okay, because she built these multi-million-dollar businesses at the same time, right? So she doesn't need to. She doesn't need 10 million followers. She built a brand for herself and was able to sell it. So there's multiple ways to do this, guys. Or you could just fizzle out. And that's what I kind of felt I did. At the height of the Marvel boom, my channel was doing extremely well. Heart of the Marvel boom. Now, it's like whatever. So again, for all of you guys who want to be YouTubers, who missed yesterday's stream, I won't say have a backup plan, but have a way to diversify. Diversify yourself so that if things don't go well, that you'll still be all right. You'll still be all right. And it's a little harder for me because I don't, if YouTube was my only thing now, it's hard to take chances. It's hard to take chances because I have a family. I have kids to feed here, right? I got three kids to feed here. I have responsibilities. I got a mortgage in the house, right? So, got bills to pay, but I'm not worried about that anymore because I'm okay for now. And now, YouTube is a quote-unquote hobby for me now. So that is what it is, right? So that's why he has the gut there. Though I don't know why you would see it because he's wearing a jacket, but I just wanted to draw a big ab gut. That's what I wanted. I wanted to draw a big ab gut on BALOO here. I'll give him bigger shoulders. What if I do this? I'm gonna give him bigger shoulders so that I can give him a bigger fist. Bigger clenched fist here at the bottom here. Bigger clenched fist. There you go. Because also the option here, guys, if I wanted to add more characters, I can. I could absolutely add more characters here. Because I think when I'm done this, I don't think I'll be adding some female characters to this, which I should. But maybe not, because I do want to finish this piece today, which most likely I will. So let's go ahead and get to the questions again, right? Let's go ahead and get to the questions. Let's see here. And let me know, guys. Let me go to guys if the stream is working for you. All right. If you can watch it, okay. Make sure that if I'm lagging, let me know, okay? Let me lagging. Let me know. Let's see here. So the next question. CT7567. And again, guys, if you guys want to add a question, go ahead to the community tab and ask your questions there. If I run out of questions here, I still have some questions left over from yesterday from Instagram. So, he goes, are you open to doing another collab with Popcross Studios? Absolutely. Though right now, I would say right now, because I'm just trying new things. Probably not in the immediate future, but he's a great guy doing some fancy. Talk about consistency. Well, that's one thing I admire about Popcross, is that without fail, Monday, Friday for the past few years, released a video, right? Didn't matter how well they did. He's very, very consistent, which is extremely commendable, right? And he's reaping the rewards for it. So good for him. Super proud of him for doing that. He's doing a great job on YouTube right now. So shout out to my buddy Popcross. But in terms of actual collabs, I probably won't do many collabs for the immediate future anyway. Mainly because I'm just doing what I have time for. Because again, YouTube's no longer my full-time thing anymore. It's definitely not my full-time thing now. So if I'm going to collab with someone, I want to make sure that I give them my all, and I'm not sure that I can. I'll be honest with you guys. I talked yesterday about how I'm not doing. It'll be rare to see me do a brand deal at this point. I actually turned down a brand deal yesterday. I turned one down, even though it mean money for the channel, which is of course, everybody needs money, but at the same time, because I'm trying to figure out the content I want to do these days, I felt, me personally, that I couldn't deliver for that brand. Because eventually I do want to work with those brands. I don't feel I could deliver what they would be expecting me to. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna take a step back and just kind of figure out what I want to do. So there's gonna be a lot of experimentation you're gonna see over the next few months on this channel, guys. I'm just gonna play around. And have a good time, right? So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, my buddy D Not So Good Artist is in the chat. How you doing, my brother? Do you think YouTube can still be a major source of income platform for artists, or at least another 10 years? I think longer than that. It's going to evolve. Here's the thing, guys. YouTube will be here for a long time. Long time. It's owned by Google. So unless another competitor comes, which is very well possible, another competitor comes that's going to really rival Google, I don't see how YouTube will go away. But at the same time, because D Not So Good Artist, by the way, go check out D Not So Good Artist channel. It's a great channel. At the same time, you have to be prepared if it doesn't, right? So I would say, especially to the younger creators here, if you're able to build an audience, make sure that you take advantage of that audience and help them bring them over to other platforms. Because what happens if it does go away? What happens if YouTube goes away? And I'll tell you, for me, it means death to me, for sure. When I say death to my social media career, quote unquote, because to be honest, I don't have that many followers. I have about 100,000 on TikTok and about 60,000 on Instagram, but nothing crazy on the other platforms, right? So, but YouTube right now is the only place you could really monetize just by posting without having to do any sort of brand deal. This is the only place where you could, if you're into the millions and millions of views, of course, this is the only place where you could make a substantial amount of money just by posting, just by AdSense, just by running ads on your videos. Right? It's the only place you could really do that right now. So 10 years, it's possible, but D Not So Good Artist, coming from a guy who's been doing this for a long time, and for you will have to eventually figure out your next step from what you do, because there will come a time where what you do is going to be played out and it's going to be tired. So you always have to research and understand what's coming up and what's new and experiment. Leave room for experimentation. Try other things. Okay, be okay with a 10 out of 10 once in a while. Be okay with a 10. For those of you who don't know what a 10 out of 10 is, YouTube actually tells you how your video is performing compared to your last 10 videos. And then when you get that 10 out of 10, it's a little disheartening. It's like, oh, you get a little sad. Let's be honest, you do get a little bit sad when you get that 10 out of 10 on YouTube. But you need those few videos to figure out, what is your next step? How can you evolve from what you're doing? Okay, that's still your audience likes. Okay, so that's really something that you should experiment with. Just not be content with what you're doing, because guarantee what you're doing right now, even if it is working, it might not work even 6 months down the line, and then you'll be trying to do the same old thing, and then people aren't watching anymore. Right, so then you got to kind of pivot again and try to figure it out. So, because there's always too much of a good thing. I mentioned this yesterday. Too much of a good thing. Too much pizza. You got pizza every day. Get pizza every day, and eventually you're gonna get sick of it. No matter how much you love pizza, you're probably gonna get sick of it if you eat it every day for like 5 years straight. Right, so you always want to kind of diversify, learn some new recipes, as we say. So. And figure out what works for you. So, this is an interesting looking blue here. Interesting. Very interesting looking for blue. So hopefully that helped, guys. Hopefully that helped. Because again, a lot of you guys want to be YouTubers. And who could blame you? Who could blame you? I'll admit, man, I wish this was around when I was in comics, when I started my career. It's way easier than doing comic books. I'll tell you that much, guys. It's so much easier than doing comics, because you get to do what you want. I get to draw what I want whenever I want. The only time that you can't really do that is if you have a brand deal, because brand deals expect something at a certain time. But other than that, it's pretty much whatever I want to do, I could do it. You can't really do that in a regular job. You really can't. So it is one of the best jobs to have. But again, it has a shelf life. It can very much have a shelf life at the same time. So thank you, my friend, the Not So Good Artist. Wonderful, wonderful question there. So let's go to another question here. Let's see what we got. Next question here. Blade Runner. And I gotta admit something to you guys. I felt, for those of you guys who watch Blade Runner, I just watched it. I think I watched it for the first time in about, when I was working at Spin at the time, because my friend let me borrow his DVD because I didn't watch it yet. That must have been 2014. The first time I ever watched it, and I will admit it's a bit slow for me. Bit too slow. A little too slow and methodical for my attention span. Though people absolutely love that movie. I'll be honest, but I didn't watch the latest one. I didn't watch the next one in the series. So maybe I hear that one's a bit better, the next one in the series. So I'll definitely have to check that out as I draw the BALOO's HGH gut here. It's interesting to see the BALOO is bigger than the genie. Yep, I'm. That's interesting to me too. So, genie could be any size, Genie could be any size he wants to be. Care Bear Comics. There you go. Blade Runner says, you should do Marvel DC theatrical release posters. That'd be nice to see on your channel. See, it probably would be smarter to do something like that. Be known as, and that's one of the things my mentor said. Like, he had envisioned for my channel, one of my mentors. So I had a mentor that, a very, very prolific guy in the YouTube space. He came and took a look at my channel, and he said he wanted, the vision he thought for my channel was to be, when a movie or something comes out, that people will be clamoring to say, hey, what's James going to draw for that movie? Well, well, what crazy piece is James going to draw for that movie? And it makes a lot of sense, right? Definitely makes a lot of sense. So for me to do that, what you suggested there, that actually makes a lot of sense for me to do. But creatively, I guess, it's like those people who, it's like an ebb and flow of things. It's like people who have a Star Wars channel right now. When things are going great for Star Wars, those channels are doing fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But we fell in a rut where pop culture movies, they just stopped working. People just weren't interested in them, or not to the extent that we were used to. So it probably still is a good strategy. Definitely, this is probably a good strategy, and maybe could open the doors for me to do something like my friend Paul Shipper does. We talked a little bit about him yesterday. My buddy Paul Shipper, who is, I call him the modern day Drew Struzan, or more aptly, the modern day Paul Shipper, because he does a lot of the great movie posters that you see today. Some of my favorite movie posters today are done by Paul. Maybe that would open the door for me doing more movie poster work, like Boss Logic style movie poster style work. So it definitely could be something that I could do. But I just want to have a little bit of fun first. I wanted to see if maybe that is something I will do, right? Maybe these live streams will be me working on a giant piece for a month, and at the end of the month, maybe I'll have like one video where I'm just drawing this gigantic piece, and everyone sees all the work I put into it, right? Could definitely do something like that. I don't know. At this point, anything's fair game. So I don't know. Maybe as of right now, no. I'm having a lot of fun doing these Marvel style cartoon characters. It's a lot of fun for me. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So I see a lot of people putting a lot of questions in the live chat. If you guys go to the community tab, and ask your questions in my latest post there. My latest post says, I have a question for me to answer tomorrow's live stream. Comment them below. Okay, write that 13 hours ago. Write them there, and I'm going to answer them there. Okay. My friend, see ya chump, says, can you make an Armor Wars piece or a Wakanda Forever piece? Maybe. And that was interesting that Armor Wars, they decided to make a full-blown movie. So they must either two things happened there. Either they started making it, and they realized it, it's so good that this could make us a lot more money if we made it a movie. That could be one. Or number two, they felt it wasn't enough material for just wasn't enough material for an actual series itself, right? So, but I'm glad that they're making it a movie, because that means they're not going to skimp on the budget. Because you hear Armor Wars, you think big budget. That is going to be big budget. Big budget. Which means a lot of overtime. Can I speak a little bit about that? Okay, let's talk a little bit about the VFX artist. An article came out about a few months ago about not quote unquote Marvel mistreating. Well, they kind of framed it that way, that Marvel was mistreating the visual effects artists. Okay, let me put a little context in that for you. Okay, because I kind of want to, because I'm a former VFX artist. I worked in that industry, and can I say that yes, the studios, they do demand, and they're able to demand pretty much any price they want at this point, and it's because there's no set price for visual effects. There is no set price. It's what the studios offer to get to the job. And all these different studios, they they want to get the job because they need it. Because they want to say they worked on Armor Wars. They want to say they worked on these big Marvel movies so they could get more work in the future from other companies. So they are willing to take a hit. They're willing to say we could do this project in a certain amount of time if it means getting them a job. And the thing is, all studios are doing that. So all studios, they're undercutting each other. They really are. they're to the detriment of the business as a whole. So, for example, I'll say I'll do this for $100, and the next person will say they'll do it for $90, and then the next person will say they'll do it for $80. When at the end of the day, somebody says we'll do it for $50, the studio will say okay, and who gets the brunt of that? It's the workers. At the end of the day, and I've been on the side of the workers, and it is just not fun. It's not fun. Staying up, literally, guys. Working a 9 to 5 in VFX is a dream. You do not work 9 to 5 in VFX. You do not. Weekends are givens, right? You're given. That's how it is. Okay. There's no such thing as a work-life balance when you're a VFX artist. There is none. There's not. You're literally, like, especially when deadlines hit, you're living at the studio. It's like you're literally living at the studio when time's winding down for a certain project. And, and the thing is, because these studios, they price themselves way too cheaply. They always lose money on the project. They never allot the amount of time that's actually needed to get these things done properly, right? That's what happens. That's why I always say, like, VFX is a very thankless job. Like the people who worked on Justice League. Was it because the VFX, artists weren't that talented? No. The reason why a lot of the VFX looked the way they did was because they ran out of time. They didn't have time to make it look good. They were rushed. Because those Warner Brothers execs at that time, they were trying to rush out the movie so that they could get their bonuses. That's what happened there, right? And that's unfortunate. What happens? People blame the VFX artists, right? The VFX artists, right? So I'm a champion of VFX in terms of, someone mentioned about the practical effects here. Let's see. I love the movie industry to have more practical effects. Bear Comics. Well, the thing is, to be honest, sometimes what you think is practical effects is actually VFX. The best VFX are things that you don't know are VFX, right? So the time we really criticize VFX is when we notice it, right? Like, for example, She-Hulk. She-Hulk, you really notice the VFX in She-Hulk. Very noticeable. Also because it's VFX that you know can't possibly be real. Like, we know, right? We know when it can't possibly be. But you'll be surprised at times where you think it's a practical set and it's not. And it's much safer, VFX, right? But it's the hip thing to say, it's the very hip thing to say, all of this would be better practical, right? So I understand both sides. And of course, you can't get more real than real. So yes, practical, of course, is better when it's real. But you'll be very surprised when you find out that a lot of stuff you thought was real wasn't real. And there's thousands upon thousands of cases where, guaranteed, there were parts where you thought it was real and it wasn't. I guarantee. Even myself, a VFX artist, I get fooled with what they're doing nowadays in terms of VFX. But a very, very hard job, guys. Very, very hard job. So as great as it is, seeing your names in the movies, the amount of work you got to put in to be a VFX artist, it's really, really tough. Abhinav asked, what company did you work for as a VFX artist? I worked for quite a few companies. I worked for a company called the Moving Picture Company, who I believe was owned by Technicolor at the time. I think they changed a lot of owners since then. So for the Motion Picture Company, I worked on Watchmen. The original Watchmen movie, well, like way back. This is way back in like early 2010s. I worked for a company called, it's now called Method Studios. At the time, it was called. What was it called before? It's called CIS when I was working there, but then they changed their name to Method Studios, and they're still thriving. That was I'll tell you, Method Studios when I was working there, that was the easiest time. That was the best working environment I've ever had in terms of work-life balance. Was Method Studios. They overhired there. They knew how to run their business at the time. I don't know how it is now. Things could have changed since I was there. But definitely So I worked on a movie called, what did I move? It was a rugby movie. Yeah, I forgot what it was. It was a rugby movie I worked on there. And I'm just giving you a little gist of what I worked on. I worked for a company called Spin. I worked there quite a few times. It's called Spin. They're here in Toronto. And I worked on things like Underworld Awakening over there, the Underworld franchise. I worked on a whole bunch of TV shows and stuff over there. And then I worked for Pixamundo. That was my last VFX job. I quit because my last VFX job was called Pixamundo. I worked there. My last time working in VFX was in 2016? 2015. That was the last time I worked in VFX. And then I taught VFX for a while. And then I realized, guys, that the industry changes so much. Art technology changes so much that after a few years, my knowledge was obsolete. If I ever wanted to work in VFX again, guys, let's say nothing worked out anymore and I needed to get a job. If I wanted to go back in VFX, I'd have to go to school. I'd have to go back to school first. There's no way around it. And then I would have a hard time finding a job because of my age. Because, I have the experience, but probably these younger guys would charge less than I would. For sure. So I would need to eat a little humble pie, as we say. So but Pixamundo, I believe, was just bought by Sony, if I'm not mistaken. The whole studio was bought by Sony, and I have a lot of friends who still work there. Shout out to my friend Mooj, who's doing a fantastic job over there, killing it ever since I left. Maybe I was the one who held her back. Because after I left, she thrived. There you go. So proud of her and everything she's accomplished. My buddy Boyan over there is now a visual effects supervisor, doing fantastic things. So my friends at Pixo doing some great stuff. Great stuff. So BALOO! Okay, let's draw his belt here. So thank you for asking that question. I don't even remember what the original question was. So let's go back. Let's go back here. Let's see here. Let's see here. I don't know if you guys can still hear me or not, but let's do the next one here. Sam Cooper says, today's live stream recorded? Yes. So before when I was doing the live streams every morning, I'm not sure if any of you guys remember that. In 2020, I started doing a live stream every day on this channel. But then I would private it. I would private it after because I wanted you guys to watch the videos afterwards. And before I was live streaming, I would live stream on a different channel, my live stream channel. But now that YouTube has separated live streams from the regular content, there's really no need to do a second channel now when it comes to my live streams. There's really no need. I can, because YouTube automatically separates the live streams from the regular content now. So there's no really need to do it. So if you want to look for live streams, guys, go check out the live tab in my YouTube channel and you'll find all my live streams there. Okay, let's go to Spidey Awesome. Spidey Awesome says, out of all your drawings, which do you look back on and say, hey, I really don't like how this turned out? Well, starting today, the anger drawing I did. The anger drawing I did definitely wasn't my favorite one. Let's just say it that way. Wasn't my favorite. But looking back, I will admit to you guys, the Star Wars mural, the official Star Wars mural I did for Disney. Let's say official, like it's official. We labeled it as a fan piece, right? We labeled it as a fan piece, but the Star Wars mural I did for the Rise of Skywalker, I'll admit to you guys, I feel I could have done better on that one. I feel I definitely didn't mail it in. I worked my behind off to get that one done, but I really feel I could have done that better. Like when you go back and you take a look at your mistakes and stuff, and a lot of time with the art, it's a woulda, shoulda, coulda. But I'm looking back at at that original Star Wars, not the original one. The original Star Wars, like when the original mural I like better than the new one, then there's a problem. You know, I feel I should have, that the newer one should have been better than the older one, right? Should have been newer, better. But to me, if I'm gonna be 100% honest with myself, I liked the old one better than the new one. So if anything I could maybe take back and do better, I would say it was that original Star Wars mural. I think I could have done a better job on that one. Because now hindsight's 2020. I look back at it, and if I were to, I see what I would have done differently. I see what I could have done, you know, to make it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. There's a lot of things I could have done with that piece that I felt I could have done a lot better than what I did with it. So if there's one that I look back on and say, hey, ooh, I didn't like that. I'm not saying I don't like it. It's okay. It's all right. It brought my career full circle, as we say, because and that's the only reason I did it, was because, you know, it completed the story, because I started my channel doing the Star Wars mural, and to do it officially for Disney, like, how can you get a better story than that? But it came at a time, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, and it came at a time where I really shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done the piece. You know why? Because my channel was thriving at that time. Like, it really was booming, my channel at that particular time. And I should have been concentrating more on making content for my channel than doing that piece. Personal wise. Like, I did make a fair amount of money on that piece. I did. Okay. They paid me, they compensated me extremely well. I wouldn't say well enough where it would take away a year of my life to do it. But, you know, they compensated pretty well for that piece. But at the same time, I think I would have made more money. Imagine that, guys. You know that giant mural I did for Disney? I would have made more money if I concentrated full-time on my YouTube channel than doing that piece. Now, again, it brought great experiences, great life experiences, that piece. So I'm not regretting that I did it. But I think my YouTube career would have went better if I didn't do the piece and just focused on YouTube. I 100% believe that. 100% believe that. Because, again, I just hit 1 million subscribers. My channel was thriving at that time, but I couldn't concentrate 100% on my channel because I was working all year round on that Star Wars mural. But that was the choice I made. And the video, you know, the video that came out from it, that video hit 1 million views. It's not like it did bad for me. Of course it did. But, you know, again, hindsight's 2020. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. And at the end of the day, I don't really know if that would have happened. Like, maybe things would have still turned out the way they did. But at the same time, it never hurts to stop and wonder if that was the right decision to do that piece. But I wasn't gonna say no. When my friend Nathan called me, say, hey, Assad wants you to do the mural. You know, I'm not gonna say no to that. You know, if they were to ask me to do it again, like right now, if they were to call me tomorrow and say, James, can you do another mural for I don't know, for Ant-Man? If they'd say, can you do a mural for Ant-Man? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes now because my channel's in the gutter. But I would have said yes. I would say yes, absolutely. Times change. So, again, you know my favorite saying, guys. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. So, with that answers that question. All right. By the way, another question from what's it called? Prom D Pinpin says, "Are we gonna expect more daily videos from you then?" Maybe. I don't want to promise anything now because that would be the hope and the dream that I could every day we're gonna hang out. Okay, that's the hope and the dream, but I don't want to promise that because I have made a lot of promises, especially in the last year, where I said I was going to do certain things, and I ended up not doing it because of various reasons. Like when my wife passed away, I'll admit to you guys, right now, I went too fast. I came back too fast. I didn't give myself enough time to grieve. I thought to myself, okay, this is how I'm going to get through this. I'm just going to put my head down, start working, and go for it, right? And go for it. I'm going to start this network of channels. I'm going to hire all these people, and it'll be great. And I mentioned yesterday, hiring the guys, that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Maybe not financially, but to help me get through that time, best decision I made. Was it the best decision financially? Probably not. But emotionally, absolutely it was. And I love those guys. And they're my brothers for life, those guys. But financially, probably wasn't the best decision in that case. And again, after a while, I just realized that, I still needed time. I think afterwards I was like gung ho on trying, like, I just wanted to get back to work. So I'm like, okay, to get back to work, I'm gonna go for it. But then I realized that, maybe went a bit too fast. So all that network of channel stuff, that's why I don't know if you guys noticed, I privated that video, right? That live stream when I said my plan, I privated that video because I just realized I couldn't do that plan anymore. I just couldn't. So whatever. I don't know if the music matches what I'm talking about right now, but it is what it is. So that's why now, whatever. Just gonna hang out, guys. Just gonna hang out now. Just let's hang. Hang 10, baby. Hang 10. Okay, so again, guys, if you want to ask me a question, go to the community tab. Okay, not in the live chat. Go to the community tab and go ahead and ask your questions there. Okay, so because the reason I'm asking is people are asking in the live chat, but there's no new questions in the live tab. So let's see here. Master M. Oops. I will answer that question in a second. Oh, okay. There are some new questions. Thank you guys for asking. There you go. There are some new questions. See, it was reversed. That's why my timeline was reversed. Here we go. Well, by the way, Spidey Awesome also asked, do you plan on doing Tron related videos? Probably not. I thought the Tron designs look amazing. The Tron designs are actually really cool, but probably not, I would say. So don't keep your hopes up on a Tron drawing. Okay, next question from Master M6000 Draws says, are you happy you started with YouTube? Absolutely. I never thought I could make a real career out of this. Okay, let me tell you guys a little story. When I was looking into YouTube, how I started YouTube, this is way back, guys, this is way back in 2012. So literally 10 years ago. My son at the time, he actually had a little injury at the time. And so I was off work taking care of my son. At the time I was working for Ubisoft. I was working for Ubisoft as a storyboard artist. Okay. And I was watching YouTube, and I was watching, I call him the godfather of YouTube, Mr. Mark Crilly. Now, some of you guys don't know Mark Crilly. Like, Mark Crilly, he had 3 million subscribers, and then his channel kind of slowed down quite a bit, like mine, right? Slowed down, so it definitely wasn't what he was, but he was the guy. Like, Mark Crilly was the man. He was, when it comes to art YouTubers, like, he was the guy. Everybody looked up to Mark Crilly. He was the original art YouTuber, okay? So everybody looked up to Mark Crilly. He was the man. Like him, Bailey J, like those guys there. And of course, Jazz. I think Jazz is still thriving today. And a wonderful new project that he has going on. But back then, I was surfing through YouTube. And then I saw that he had a video where it's like how to draw an eye. And it had millions of views, right? How to draw an eye. And I'm like, millions of people watch how to draw an eye? I can draw an eye. That's what I said to myself. Right? That's what I said. I can draw eyes. I know how to draw eyes. I can draw eyes. So I was off for a bit. So that's when we decided, hey, let's go ahead and try this YouTube thing. You know, it'll be fun. And I knew when I started that the first videos I'd done, that's not going to be the videos I'm going to turn out doing. And that was definitely the case. And even when I quit my job to do YouTube, I didn't expect, you know, all I was expecting, I wasn't even expecting earning what I lost. I wasn't even expecting earning what I lost. Because, you know, at that time, guys, I was making six figures combining my teaching with my VFX job. I was making about six figures before I quit my job. But I just wanted to try making art on my own terms. So I gave it I was teaching on the side because I had to pay the bills. But that was about 20 hours a week teaching. But the rest of the time I was working on the YouTube channel. But I never thought I would hit 1 million subscribers. Never. Because I felt it was too niche, the channel, right? And back then, being 1 million subscribers back then, that was a gigantic thing. 1 million subscribers back then was gigantic. You know, I always say today, the 1 million subscriber mark, and you know, for some of you, they'll be like, come on, James. Of course, it's a fantastic achievement. But today, the 1 million subscribers to me today, it's like the 100,000 subscribers from 5 years ago. Achieving 1 million subscribers today is like achieving 100,000 subscribers 5 years ago. Now, I know a lot of you would love 100,000 subscribers, of course. But to me, that's kind of how it feels. Because before, it was like, you hit 1 million subscribers, you're an instant millionaire. Trust me, guys, I am not a millionaire. I'll tell you that. It's like you feel like you got a dollar a subscriber, right? And even now, guys, like, subscribers don't really matter these days. They just don't. It's not about the subscribers. It's about the views. At the end of the day, it's about the views. Oh, and Art Dad is back. How you doing, Art Dad in the Misfits? It's good to see you back and going live again. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you so much. It's great to be back. Great to be back. And thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. YouTube's changed. To be honest, if I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys, I think they should change the rewards. I really do. Because subscribers isn't what it used to be. And I mentioned yesterday, did a quick survey, and you could ask yourself this: where do people actually watch the videos? Do they watch it from their subscriber feed or their home feed? A lot of people still do use their subscriber feed, but a great number just do what YouTube tells them to do. So it's not really about people subscribing to your channel anymore. It does help, but it's more about if YouTube thinks your video people will watch, so they're going to push it to more people. That's how people are going to watch your videos these days. So it's about algorithm hacking these days. It's not about who subscribes to your channel. I'm going to ask you guys this right now. I'm going to ask you guys this. How many YouTube channels you subscribe to? I'm going to ask you guys this right now. See how many YouTube channels you subscribe to right now. Okay? And then ask yourself, how many of those channels you actually watch consistently? Because there are times you subscribe to a channel. And it was just like one funny video, and you never watch another video from them ever again. Right? That's why, me personally, I actually think the reward system should change. Now, I've heard suggestions of like watch time and stuff. That's not sexy, you know. It's not a thing. I think the reward now should be views. Me personally, I think the rewards, the YouTube rewards, should be views. Like, you'll get a plaque if you hit 100 million views. You'll get a plaque if you hit 50 million views. I wouldn't go as low as 10, because you could get 10 million views with one video, right? But I think like 50 million, maybe the first one, the next one 100 million, next one maybe 500 million, next one 1 billion, right? I think that's a little bit more accurate portrayal of how a channel's doing as opposed to subscribers. Because again, you see subscribers now. Like, I see some OG YouTubers now with 7 to 8 million subscribers, and they're getting my views. My views. That's ridiculous. My views. Let's see. Our dad is subscribed to 21 channels and watch every video posted. Like, you are the outlier, my friend. You are the outlier. I'm gonna tell you guys how many I'm subscribed to right now. I'm gonna show you. I am subscribed to. Let's see. If I go to subscription tab here, go manage. I am. Oh, it doesn't say. See, I'm even looking at my subscription. I don't even know who some of these guys are. Let's see here. Where does it tell you how many you're subscribed to? But I think I'm subscribed to like 400 channels. I'm not joking. I'm subscribed to like 400 channels. Okay. So, okay. But again, that's just me. That's just me. And I'm not saying that 100,000 subscribers is nothing. That's incredible. If you're able to reach 100,000 subscribers, that's not easy either. That's really tough. To be honest, I never even thought I would get to 100,000 subscribers. I just felt the content was too niche, what I was doing. Until I kind of figured out a way to make it a little bit more mainstream. Figured out a way to get not just artists to watch my content, but everybody to watch. That's the difference. Okay? So that is, I didn't get to draw the metal arm for BALOO here because I ran out of space. See, that's what we call poor planning, my friends. Poor planning. Okay, I'm gonna answer one more question as I just add just a bit more information here on BALOO, and then we're gonna go on to the last character that I'm gonna add to this piece. Tomorrow we're gonna work on something new. Okay, we're gonna work on something new. So, let's see here. The next question, again from the community tab. Let's see here. Webmaster said, are you going to do more Spider-Man videos? I am going to do a lot more Lego-based videos. Because, I'll be honest, I bought a lot of Lego, and I want to write it off. Just joking. So, I have this Lego mech. Another Spider-Man Lego mech. I did one before. But I had this Spider-Man and Venom, where they're inside these mechs. So I would like to do a piece where I'm actually going to draw that in my style. So that would probably be my next quote-unquote Spider-Man video. There, okay? So. Part of me is like, should I do the rendering of the fur? Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, maybe I'll add a little bit. So I could just answer a few more questions here. Okay, so I'm just going to add some fur. So I can answer just a couple more questions here. Because we're almost done this drawing, guys. I'm just going to draw one more character on the side. And because a lot of it's covered, it won't be the best. But we'll see here. So, final question for this stream. And we will go there. And it looks like from my friend, Danielle Bell Muffin. How are you, my friend? What is the most challenging drawing you've ever done? Challenging. Oh. Challenging. Okay, this isn't like a big mural or anything. Like, I'll be honest, guys. Murals are pretty easy for me because they're fun. They're a lot of fun. Drawings are challenging when they're not fun anymore, right? When you have to finish it, but you just have no interest in finishing it. Or there's problems in the drawing that you just can't solve, and it's tough. I would say, off the top of my head, okay, the most challenging was I was doing some concept art for NBC. It was for a movie called Percy Jackson, the first Percy Jackson movie. And I was doing this concept of the main villain there. And I believe the actor playing him was Steve Kugler. I think that was his name. Steve Kugler. And there was already concept art for it. There was also concept art for it, but they wanted his face to be more integrated into the design. So they wanted more of the original actor's face to be integrated in the design. So this was the very first. Very first thing I did on that movie. And they allotted like half a day for me to do it, and it literally took me over a week to get it done right. I tried so many iterations of trying to get this actor's face in this design, and I just couldn't get to work. And the problem with that was, my supervisor was getting frustrated with me. I was getting frustrated because I couldn't get it. I just couldn't get it. So I had to draw the same face over and over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, they still weren't happy with it. At the end of the day. And it brought back a lot of bad memories because, when you feel like you failed as an artist, that was a time I really, really felt like I failed as an artist. I really did. Because I just couldn't get the job done right. And it was the very, very first thing I did on this movie. So first impressions are everything, right? So when that's your first impression, when you do a bad job on the very first thing you do for work, it just leaves a sour taste in the supervisor's mouth, who is actually now an Academy Award-winning supervisor. he won the Academy Award for 1917. He's a fine guy. He's a nice guy. But I messed up. I totally messed up that job. I messed up. And that's one of the biggest, I wouldn't say regret, but disappointment. I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't angry at him. I was angry at myself for not being able to do the job. So as you can tell, it really affected me. And even to this day, it really affected me how poorly I bungled that. I really, really bungled that job. But good on him. But yeah, so again, he was trying to help me, but at the same time, I knew he didn't trust me anymore after that. He really didn't trust me to do the jobs anymore after that. And as a supervisor, you have so much responsibility as a visual effects supervisor. Like, everything's on you at the end of the day. So I don't blame him for that. He has to answer to his bosses, right? And if the work I put in is subpar, right, I make the whole company look bad, right? So it was just, in my mind, even today, one of the most challenging was that particular piece, just because I did so bad. Looking back at it, I did such a bad job. I really, really, really regret it. So Danielle, thank you for bringing back bad memories. Just joking. But again, just like anything else, you learn from it. Just like from anything else, you learn from it. But when things like that happen, when you bungle something so badly, you question yourself as an artist. And I really, really started questioning myself as an artist. Like, it was so bad, I literally cried, guys. And that's how bad it was. I literally cried. I went back to, because at the time my family wasn't with me yet. No, they were with me. But I was so sad that I couldn't get it. That I was literally crying. Literally crying because I couldn't get it. So, that's what happened, right? So, it is what it is, and that's part of life, learning. Like, not everything is going to go 100% your way, and that was definitely a case where people did not go my way. So there it is. Just want to shout out my buddy Reese is here. Reese is here every day, so thank you, my friend. And I think he's on the East Coast, so that's impressive, my friend. I'll be honest, James, I often miss your videos not due to the quality, but simply because of what you're drawing. For some reason, I'm more likely to watch your streams, regardless of what you're drawing. Thank you very much, Reese. I really appreciate that, my friend. By the way, my buddy Reese, he's a phenomenal Transformers artist. Probably one of the best I've seen recently, for sure. That's not an OG, of course, like the OGs. So great to have you here, buddy. Great to have you here. Okay, so I'm probably gonna call it on this BALOO here. It's my own fault for not leaving enough space. Here. And somebody did point out, why is BALOO bigger than the Genie? Good point. But again, Genie can be any size he wants to be. So today, he wanted to be smaller. I want to give other people the shine. So, okay, guys. So we are going to have one more stream. All right. So BALOO is done. But we're going to do one more stream. And let me just do a quick erase here. We're going to do one more stream, and we're going to do one more fun character. It's going to be a lot of fun, and then we're going to wrap this piece up. We're going to do something new tomorrow, okay? Do something new tomorrow. So there it is. I'm going to push it up here. Let's do a quick pan on the side here. And that is BALOO. That is BALOO with the HGH gut. We call that. For those of you guys, Mario's here. Mario here understands what I'm talking about. The HGH gut. The people who take HGH, human growth hormone, that's what their bellies look like. So, okay. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys to everyone in the chat. James is now the young Aaron Blaze, says Rudolph. Okay, I'll take that, my friend. I'll take that. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. I'm coming back right away with a new stream. We're going to draw one more character today. Okay, guys? I'll talk to you very, very shortly. All right. All right, on to the next stream, my friends. High five. Oops, again, high five. High five. Okay, I'll talk to you guys in a minute.